US President Donald Trump has once again threatened to raise tariffs on India, and substantially, for continuing to buy Russian oil. He's accused India of fueling the Russian war machine once again. India, very quietly but very firmly, showed a mirror to the United States, saying that the US and the European Union, they continue to buy Russian oil. The European Union in 2024 had a bilateral trade of 67.5 billion euros in goods with Russia, significantly more than India's total trade with Russia. US continues to import uranium hexafluoride for its nuclear industry, palladium for its EV industry, and fertilizers and chemicals. So India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan and our team get you the latest report.
Our collective desire is to see a fair and representative global order, not one dominated by a few.
India, in a strongly worded statement, hits back at Donald Trump's tariff threat over Russian oil purchase. The External Affairs Ministry has accused the US and EU of hypocrisy, highlighting their trade with Russia while asking India to stop. New Delhi says Russian oil has been crucial for energy security and pointed out that India's critics are importing from Russia themselves. The MEA detailed that the EU's 2024 trade with Russia hit 67.5 billion euros in goods and 17.2 billion euros in services, which is much higher than India's. Calling out Trump's doublespeak, the MEA pointed out that US continues importing Russian uranium, palladium, fertilizers, chemicals, despite the rhetoric. Calling the targeting of Indian imports from Russia unjustified, India clearly stated that it will prioritize its national interests. When India began ramping up its purchase of Russian crude in 2022, it wasn't under sanctions. In fact, US officials urged India to stabilize global prices.
Actually, they bought Russian oil because we wanted somebody to buy Russian oil at a price cap. That was not a violation or anything. It was actually the design of the policy, because as a commodity, we didn't want oil prices going up, and they fulfilled that.
Despite India's clear message, Trump once again warned that he will raise tariffs on India soon over Russian oil. Kremlin, meanwhile, has come out swinging in India's support, saying that sovereign countries have the right to choose their own trading partners.
We hear many statements that are in fact threats, attempts to force countries to cut trade relations with Russia. We do not consider such statements to be legal. We believe that sovereign countries should have and do have the right to choose their own trading partners, partners for trade and economic cooperation, and to choose for themselves the forms of trade and economic cooperation that are in the interests of a particular country.
The Indian Army, in a social media post, drew attention to another uncomfortable truth. The US has for decades armed Pakistan. The post on the 1971 war points out that American military aid to Islamabad goes back to 1954 and had crossed over $2 billion by 1971. This after US President Trump threatened he will substantially raise the tariff imposed on India from the 25%, accusing New Delhi of funding Russian war against Ukraine. Meanwhile, the Congress slammed Prime Minister Modi's foreign policy based on personal equations.
हाउडी मोदी कराया, नमस्ते ट्रंप कराया, अगली बार अब की बार ट्रंप सरकार कराया, फोटो ऑप हुई, व्हाइट हाउस चले गए, माय फ्रेंड नरेंद्र मोदी, ये सब दावे किए जाते थे ना, और उसका नतीजा देखिए, धमकियां दी जा रही हैं, 25% से ऊपर टैरिफ लगाया जा रहा है, हमें धमकी दी जा रही है कि रूस से आप तेल मत खरीदिए. ये दोस्ती बहुत कीमती निकली ना.
As Trump escalates his tariff war, India has drawn a red line. Strategic autonomy isn't negotiable. Bureau Report, India Today.